Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles 2, where we discuss topics other than SPs. I have my original channel, Magic and Miracles, which is solely dedicated to discussing SPs and how to bring them back, and this channel, as its sister, discusses manifestation in all other ways. And this is also very interesting to me. Hello, my name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles to help people manifest the right way. I've been a coach for 10 years, and I am proud to say I've been on YouTube for 2.5 years now and have been coaching for that duration. And my experience has been tremendous, 99% of the time with my clients who are absolutely magnificent, may I say. And so if you want to become my client and be my coaching, you need to book 1 hour session in which we discuss your priorities, what you want to work on, and we see if we are a good match. If we both want to proceed, you will have to pre-book, and I recommend my signature package. I recommend 2 to 3 months in this package, and you will need to pre-book to put yourself on the waiting list. So that I will let you know in our hour session when you can begin, and you will have a certain schedule and a date when you can start. But all of this will be discussed upon you booking the session. And everything else that we need to discuss, what you need to work on. If you have any questions, my emails are below. So on this channel, I keep it casual, but in essence, what the topic of today's audio will be is all the real faux pas of manifestation. I mean, as per me, and my process is very different as a coach. It's very methodical. It's more focused on you than the method. You are the method. And I study you in my coaching, and this is why we start with your childhood, going, through adolescence, college years, all the way up until today, because that's the programming, your belief system that lies underneath it all. And in addition to this, I want to discuss how I think people completely mishandle certain manifestation teachings, I would say, in particular Neville Goddard, etc. But before I go on, also in my coaching, what we do is we process emotions, and this is what truly makes the whole energy thing turn around in your favor, because chances are, if you're not manifesting, it's because your emotional state right now, the way that you're vibrating, is more attached to the past rather than your desires. And so once you are done with that, and I do it in a very methodical way, I guide you through it, then in my estimation, you are ready to manifest freely, because in essence, manifestation is really easy. And I'm going to offer some thoughts on how I think other coaches and just in general people that I observe today. There's some brilliant teachers. You all know who they are. Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, all the greats like, Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and all these people. But as a whole, there's a whole parade of these wannabe coaches, really badly wannabe coaches. I feel like that create more of a problem rather than the solution. First of all, I have this huge situation with people really being under this impression that they need to be perfect all the time. Really, nobody asks that of you. That you need to be in control constantly of your thoughts. First of all, that's impossible, and these kinds of expectations of it being a perfect journey, it doesn't exist. Guys, Like, please. Can we please just dial down the crazy on how perfect we should be? To me, it's almost like feeding into, unfortunately, because these people don't understand what the fuck they're doing. To me, this is more feeding into this people pleaser situation that has, for the majority, the people in my coaching are people pleasers. And I would imagine those are the people that need help the most. So you're already dealing with people pleasers, and now you're telling them, to stand on their head in 15 million ways so that they can achieve some kind of non-existent perfection, so that they can deserve their fucking SP back, or or that sum of money, or whatever it happens to be. And it's simply just not the fucking truth. Okay, you don't need to be perfect. I think it's the opposite. It's like you allow yourself to be imperfect and love the whole of you, like throughout the journey. Because this is how people are, right? For the majority of the time, they have a lot of shit bottled up, like already. So most coaches do not bother looking at the history and jump straight to manifestation. So here's a person that's coming off of maybe, I don't know, decades of really, the programming that is completely faulty. Let's just be polite in saying so. And now you're not examining that, not even a little bit, or maybe very superficially. Okay, everything I've seen and heard thus far, I'm not just bragging on me, by the way. I've just done the research, is all. That's the difference, okay? I'm all about the research. And so I'm only speaking because I know what I'm talking about, basically. And so this person hasn't processed their emotions. The coach doesn't really know how to guide this person through this process. And now you're asking this person who is completely unhealed to manifest. Because the implication is that, okay, we don't really care about you, because just basically this should apply to everybody. It's cookie cut like that, the approach, which is totally pedestrian and disgusting if you ask me. But here's another implication, that you have to be perfect to deserve something. This is so bad, you guys. So bad and so wrong. It's the opposite, my darling. Hello, good morning, how are you? I guarantee you none of these people went to a single psychology class. Like all of these certifications and Pilates this and healing energy that, fucking bullshit, man. I can write whatever the fuck I want underneath my name also. It's a proof of nothing. Okay, how are they in session should be the question. If you know anything about psychology, first of all, even from the manifestation point of view, everybody is like a snowflake. So without going into the deep and very necessary examination of the way the person thinks, like, there's no way that you can change what they're manifesting. It does not exist. But if you know how you think and you know your tendencies and you can heal certain wounds and recalibrate your engine to expect better, etc., but you know yourself and you've accepted yourself completely, like you're no longer wanting to be perfect, you allow yourself to fail, in quotations. In other words, I'm not putting so much pressure on myself, like I'm salivating for my SP and it's an emergency, or that sum of money, it's an emergency. Listen, if it's an emergency, this emergency will last for years. You know why? Because you're making it a big fucking deal and you're worrying about it. If you just say, all right, this is the manifestation, whatever the fuck it happens to be, I don't particularly care. And you say, I, made the intention that this is, coming to me now. I have sent out this intention and I have no reason to believe otherwise, that the universe will deliver. Why? Because I've made peace with myself and I no longer find fault with myself. Neither does the fucking universe. Because if I'm accepting myself, I admit to the universe I am lovable, I am worthy of anything that I desire. And this fundamentally is lacking entirely in this concept of, first of all these like phrases, who can even like focus on what's really at hand when you have so many phrases like, these regurgitations of Neville Goddard's teachings like SATs and, live in the end and all this kind of stuff, like almost said robotically without like conveying. Do you understand? Like it's very cookie cut again without going in very deep into this person in particular. It's like one size fits all once again, which is not the case at all. And so finding yourself, in the situation where you want to manifest something unprecedented, let's just say, it has to do with the unprecedented self-acceptance that it's not about the manifestation. I am the king of the world or the queen of the world. And I'm summoning this manifestation. And it has no choice but to come to me. Because faults and all, I've made peace internally, so much so that I no longer hold anger, regret, resentment, this, that, and the other. I'm a pure, clean slate. And it doesn't imply anywhere that you're perfect. You're never going to be perfect. It's never going to be a perfect, let's just say, even manifestation. There's some detours along the way where you're learning things. And to me, enjoying this process because you're enjoying being with yourself during this process without being irritated. Like, in other words, not saying, I am incomplete without this manifestation. No, you're already complete. You already have everything to like make this manifestation times a million. So you don't really depend on a manifestation also, because it feels like everybody's so hungry for the manifestation that completely forget that yes, of course, it's really lovely to get what you want, but you should also be able to live in between manifestations and enjoy the process, because everything is always in process. And if we can't enjoy the process, honestly, how can you enjoy the manifestation? You're going to be on to the next fix after that. That's really unhealthy. That's acting like a junkie rather than a well-balanced person, again, who's at peace with themselves. And in that vibration, things just naturally roll into your existence that shit you haven't even asked for, and you're like, wow, wonderful, simply magical. This was, in alignment with what I asked for, but fuck, this like, supersedes everything that I had in mind, kind of deal. Like, to be pleasantly surprised, to open yourself up to that situation rather than obsessing over certain things. It's nice to choose specific ideas, but again, that's where it ends. This obsession also has to end of when is the manifestation going to come. If you're going to really obsess about the when and the how, it means, again, you're not enjoying the process because you're so in a rush to get there. You're so in a rush to get there. And I guarantee if you are, once you get there, what's over there is not going to be satisfactory to you, because you haven't enjoyed the process. You haven't loved every minute of becoming that person who's now going to be on the same frequency as that desire. That's the whole point of manifestation anyway. You're manifesting to upgrade yourself, in ways that you previously haven't. And so if you're not allowing yourself to level up in frequency as you, watch this manifestation come into fruition, you're not really learning. You're gonna be back to square one in a very short period of time, which a lot of people who are impatient, just like that, um, don't get to keep their manifestations because they haven't really gotten accustomed to. They might get their manifestation, in other words, um, and it's either going to be short-lived or it's not going to be the entire manifestation, not in its full expression that it could have been had they left the fucking cake in the oven a little bit longer, metaphorically speaking. The other thing that is really prevalent is that, there is this misconception that somehow you depend on the outside world, essentially, that someone out there is going to approve or disapprove of you. The misconception of, or rather the prevalent belief, let's just say, it's kind of like you're petitioning for something rather than just I decided and that's what it is. I'll give you an example. So sometimes people, they look for signs, but first of all, they don't realize that they even create those signs. Okay, you're not really so much asking for a sign. You already know what you want to see and you just create the fucking sign. So asking for signs or asking even questions when you yourself are the decider, it becomes like completely irrelevant. Like reading in too much into signs or what somebody like said, it's really not, it's the other way around. It's you see reality through the prism of your desire, meaning whatever fits that desire stays and whatever doesn't fucking falls away. So that's another big one, but a lot of people do it like, oh, I saw a sign, which means this is what's going to happen. Have you decided that this is what's going to happen? No. Okay, then why are you accepting this sign as a meaning, as this meaning, or as a meaning of any kind, if you don't prefer it to be what it, really means? So these kinds of things that the outside still somehow dictates rather than you creating the very signs you're asking for, you're just kind of playing this game with yourself. And you should always remember that. Not leaving it up to interpretation, but getting to it first and deciding. Because I tell you, if you don't decide, you will be asking for signs forever. If you don't decide, nobody's going to do it for you. Some kind of mishmash of manifestations might happen, some good and some bad, but really so disorganized and so inconsistent that it's not really anything to write home about. When you have a strong decision, it's like the C parts. Okay, there's a decision, there's a precise direction. Okay, what can you do with all the most geniuses, the most amount of geniuses that you could possibly imagine? If they have no direction, what kind of work you want them to do? They have no clue. They don't have a mind. Nobody, don't expect anybody in reality to have a mind of their own. That's another one. That's a misconception also. I wonder what they're thinking. What do you think they're thinking? What do you think they're thinking? That's what the fuck they're thinking. It's not a fucking mystery. Okay? So that, reading in too much into signs and this and that, in other words, you're only going to find the confirmation what you already kind of sort of, are feeling. That in that sense, this is how the feelings are your God. I forget whose quote that is, but it is somebody's quote. Your feelings are your gods. And finally, I sometimes wonder why people research manifestation at all if all they're going to use it for is just to manifest here and there. This is not a technique, this is a lifestyle. So, as an example, if people manifest money and let's just say whatever, they want to manifest like 100 grand or something. and their entire focus is on the 100 grand. Like somebody's going to come and just like hand them a check. Like it could happen this way, but then not change your lifestyle according to the 100 grand, meaning like, all right, maybe it's an idea away, maybe it's a business away, maybe it's some research away, right? It's just being stuck with the idea of a certain amount and that's it. That's a really narrow-minded way of thinking, you know? And yet people do it all the time. Because I've seen this, like even in my coaching, people would come to me and say, yeah, I manifested before like $50,000 or whatever it happened to be. And it was gone just like it came. And I was like, yeah, because you fundamentally haven't changed your lifestyle. The way that you live, the way that you think, the way that you look at money, it hasn't changed. So yeah, congratulations, you manifested the 50 grand, but it went into things that you didn't plan and all this kind of stuff. Because fundamentally, if you're not changing yourself, this manifestation will not stick to you. So manifesting a text message, let's just say in the event of an SP, or manifesting even 100 million, okay? If you're not ready to be that person, if you haven't shifted your perspective, that the whole world relies on you, not the other way around, and that you don't have to be perfect. You know, I really think people sometimes think that those people who are really good at manifesting, that somehow they like figured shit out that others didn't. I think this is really funny. The only thing that you need to figure out is yourself, how to play your instrument. You have the body is your instrument. You have to understand how your feelings create reality. And only you will be able to feel that. And only you will be able to work through those painful memories, to forever part with them, so that your energy can turn into something else. This is the only thing to figure out. There's no other principle that exists. This is why, you know, people read books and nothing really sticks. They go to seminars with Abraham Hicks. Oh my God, don't get me started. And Joe Dispenza retreats and this and that and the other, but nothing sticks because fundamentally the work is really you. That's the method. And that's what, if somebody is good at manifesting, they figured out their relationship with their emotions. It's like you have this precious gift, and that's where it and in that sense, when you have a handle on that kind of energetic power, who the fuck can mess with you? You have it, and everybody will look at you like, what are you doing? I'm just good at playing my instrument. It's just kind of like acting, you know? Their instrument is their body and obviously the voice, etc., etc. You have to figure out your instrument, you know? You need to figure out when you feel magnetic and when you clearly are not. And how, in your case, you can become magnetic in a very short period of time. These are the kinds of things that, you know, I go through in my coaching, and I teach people how to use these things every day and how to get into the groove in a shorter period of time than it would have probably taken you in the past. Because, listen, dwelling in those territories, low frequencies, that's a very costly, scary zoo. Those promenades, they're not for free, you know what I mean? So you need to keep the straight focus on where it is exactly that you want to go. What kinds of emotions you want to put out into the quantum field for the quantum field to respond with your manifestation. Because if you know that, then you have confidence. That if you know for sure how your emotions operate, your feelings operate with the quantum field, you're not impatient because you know what you did. And that's the entire shebang, figuring out yourself and how your emotions and feelings and intentions, they come back 100%. But I mean, but not a thing has to do with perfection here. You can be a regular person in quotations and just have a very good handle on who you are and your emotions and manifest so effortlessly like the world has never seen. But so then how do you put words to that, right? There's no rigidity here. There's no, oh, live in the end and these kinds of copy and paste like expressions beaten down to death. Like, no, there's just I figured out how my mechanism works. There's no words to that. How do you explain, when an artist has a vision of something and the artist makes it real in his or her imagination so vividly, it becomes real. How do you explain that in words? Your creations, they really don't belong in any kind of a box because they could be unlimited. And I feel like if you box yourself in with affirmations, the repetitions, nonstop, and these kinds of ready to go, plastered, copy and pasted phrases, you really you don't utilize your creative gift to its fullest. You're not. It's kind of like, you have the whole grand piano and you're only playing like in one octave, that kind of, if not just like three keys. I'm so serious. You're not playing the entire range. And so this is why it's all individual. So don't seek even to understand. Like a lot of stuff just will not resonate and you should let it fall by the way. You really need to make this experience a one of a kind, custom made experience for yourself. And nobody has the kind of like way to give that to you other than yourself. Only a coach can guide you appropriately, but you yourself will discover and rediscover, since this is not your first incarnation, how to use this gift effortlessly. And this is what I teach in coaching and explain endlessly. I teach energy work in my manifestation section, which is the last section of my coaching, and how to get it like completely effortlessly. You don't really need to do so much when you have the clean slate. You don't. You just need to think it once, maybe declare it once, feel it one time, entertain it, be satisfied with it being on its way, and continue on your merry day, but making a lifestyle out of not just expecting that one manifestation, but actually being a person for whom these manifestations, they come all the time. Not just like, oh, this is a special kind of situation. No, this is your lifestyle. You understand? You have to make a lifestyle out of it. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me again is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.